Live. We've got the Dr. Robert Jumumba Cunningham. He's just now walking into the studio. Hello, Dr. Robert Jumumba Cunningham. Well, we got to get you mic'd up. Okay, there you are. How are you? Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Oh, get out of town. Thank you. Thank you. Folks, this is a great show tonight. Dr. Robert Jumumba Cunningham has written a book. It's called Sickos and Sickos. Sickos and Sickos. And it's a psychological investigation of the various patients that you have treated. Is that correct, Dr. Robert Jumumba Cunningham? Dr.
Hello.
Cunningham.
Yes. Did you ask me a question?
I did, sir. I said that the book, that Sickos and Sickos. It's a psychological investigation of the various patients that you have treated. Is this correct, Doctor?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so let's just move on here. Now, we want to get into the bio of yours. You are from Detroit, Michigan. Is this correct, sir? Well, I know it's correct, but you can confirm it for me.
Yes.
That's wonderful, wonderful. The Motor City, folks, is in the house. This is wonderful. You're going to have your opportunity, people, to call in and speak with Dr. Robert Jumumba Cunningham. And let me finish the bio. He's a lawyer. He's the doctor. Girls, your mother would have loved him. Him so wonderful. Just a little joke. Inside joke, you're not going to get it. I'm so sorry. Listen, let's just get into this. I'm repeating myself. I'm Carrie King. You're listening to the Carrie King Live Show. And again, our guest is Dr. Robert Jumumba Cunningham. I first want to ask you about your middle name, Doctor. What a lovely name, Jumumba. Where did you get such a name?
Basically, when I was growing up in Detroit in the 60s, I wanted to abolish my slave name, which is Robert, and I adopted the name Jumumba. I was in several black nationalist groups at the time, and that name afforded me an opportunity to be a young revolutionary. But then when the government came into Detroit with the government jobs, I had to go back to using my slave name, which is Robert. Yes.
Son, I can totally relate to your story. I'm a Jewish girl. I don't know if you knew this or not, but I am, and I can totally understand your predicament. Now, how did this go over with the Jumumba and changing it back and forth? Do your black brothers and sisters think that perhaps you've sold out at all?
Basically, what happened was that my parents forgave me and got back in their good graces, and also the brothers and sisters understood because the government was handing out the jobs, and they knew that I was doing the name thing change by any means necessary. So it worked out on both fronts.
I love this guy. He's a great one. All right, now let's get to the thick of things here. Your book, Sickos and Sickos. Sickos and Sickos. Basic question here, Dr. Cunningham. What's the difference between a psycho and a sicko?
Basically, the psycho is a person who is mentally ill, and the sicko is someone who is pretty much physically ill. That's the distinction.
Oh, you know, speaking of sickos and you being from the Motor City and all, do you know that young fella? We have him here often, Roger Moore, who did that movie called Sickos. Do you two hang out at all? Just curious.
No, I'm from a part of town that holds a certain prejudice towards the likes of a Mr. Moore. However, I can't say that I'm not opposed to his point of view because he seems to be somewhat of a radical, not unlike myself.
That he is, son. You've got a point there. Well, you know, I announced at the beginning of the show, at least I think I did, and anybody who watches this show with regularity knows that they can come on and ask questions. So we've got some callers already in the queue. Let's go ahead and take the first call. Caller.
Hello, am I on?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello?
Go
Yes.
ahead.
Yes, I'd like to know if the good doctor there knows that is the guy who shot up the Holocaust Museum, is he a sicko or a psycho? And I'll take my question off the air.
We love that question. That's a very good question. Dr. Robert Jumumba Cunningham. We've had this terrible story in the news here. One of your brethren was gunned down, I hate to say. But the man was shooting up the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. Was that character a psycho or a sicko?
Basically, from my understanding, he's, from what I read on it, that he is a psycho because he was 88 years old and he's still harboring the racial attitude that I used to witness back in the 60s in Detroit. And we're talking about a 40-year progression here of living in that sort of mental state. And to go to the Holocaust Museum, which I do believe is a testament to the plight of the Jews, and to have him shoot a brother lends itself to the confusion of the man because it didn't seem like he singled out any Jewish people.
And me being Jewish, I'm not going to take offense at that particular remark because, son, I totally understand what you mean. Now, we've got another Carla. Let's take this call. Go ahead, Carla. You're on. With Dr. Ramon. Oh, hold on. Let me just get the doctor's name correct. Dr. Robert Jumumba Cunningham. Carla, you're on with the doctor. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Dr. Cunningham. I would like to know. I would like to know, where can I get your book, Sickos and Sickos?
Basically, you can find my book online at lulu.com, and you can also find my book being sold at any black establishment throughout the U.S. Now, the problem with the establishments in the U.S., black establishments, is that there aren't too many. So you basically are going to have to try to do some research online to find out where these historical black bookstores are, because with the likes of Barnes & Noble wiping out the installations of black sellers in America, that makes it a little difficult, but you should be able to find the book. And also, if you have a problem, you can call the show and have the show contact me. I have a stack of my books in my basement that I can sell to you for at cost.
Yeah, Dr. Cunningham. This Jamal, I'm in your 8 o'clock class, and I'm the one who called it. You said you was gonna give an A to anybody who called in, so I called in. I just want to make sure you got that. For real, yo.
I don't think that you have anything to worry about, since you did complete the assignment, and basically that's something that we probably need to discuss off the air.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Cunningham. But this still mean I get an A, right? For real?
Like I just said, we'll discuss it off the air.
Okay, Carla. Well, you have another question? We got a lot of people in the queue.
Okay, that's all. I'll see you in class, Dr. Cunningham.
My brother.
Thank you, Carla. You're very kind. Dr. Cunningham, how impressive it is to see the interaction between you and your students. Wonderful, yes. Indeed.
Yes, basically, he's not only one of my students, but that particular brother is also one of my clients, who can be classified as a sicko.
Oh, well, that's where we were going, I guess. So what makes him a sicko versus a psycho?
Basically, every time I hand out an assignment, he always wants a concession for doing the assignment. And if I don't say that I'm going to reward him for doing the assignment, he basically does bodily harm to himself, such as banging his head on the desk, or running into my desk, or slamming himself up against the blackboard. So he's characterized as a sicko.
Wow, that is pretty deep there, very deep.
Yeah.
All right, the board is lighting up. This is wonderful. Let's take another call. Carla? Yes, Carla.
Dr. Cunningham, my husband, by the way, my name is Ethel. It's not my real name, but, Anyway, my husband, every night, he masturbates into a sock, and then he just puts it in his pillow. And I think it has something to do with our love life. Now, the thing is, he stopped wanting to make love to me, and It seems like every time he just loses his socks. And I keep wondering, I'm doing his laundry, and I'm wondering, what's he doing with the socks? Because I can't find his socks anywhere. And then when I get them, they're all sticky and they're all stuck together, and then he says he doesn't know what's happening. He thinks it's some kind of detergent that I'm using. I use Tide. I've always used Tide, and they don't stick the socks together. I think he's just, every night, starting to masturbate in his underwear. In his socks all the time.
Esther, darling. Excuse me, Dr.
No, it's not Esther, it's Ethel. My name is Ethel.
I'm sorry. Ethel, darling, I'm so sorry. Listen to me.
And what's really bad about the whole thing, we go into a Walmart. Right? And you know how you have the 10 socks that are all together, the white socks?
Yes.
I'm looking at that, and it's just, to me, it's socks, right?
Yes.
My husband looks at that, and he sees an orgy. I don't get it. Doctor, is there anything I could do?
Doctor, if I may, we want to give you your opportunity, but Ethel, you said? Listen, I just want to suggest, perhaps this is something for the rabbi. That's what I'm thinking, darling. But
what? I'm not Jewish. What are you talking about? I don't have a rabbi.
Oh.
Doctor, is there anything you could do to help?
Basically, this may help you. After you purchase my book, I want you to read chapter 13. Basically, your husband is what's called a baiter. And does he have a tendency to want to rule you and everyone in the house?
Yeah, he does. He does that.
Yeah,
That's him.
It's a classic case.
Every time he has to have the remote, he has to watch the shows he wants to watch. He has to eat the food that only he wants to eat.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to corn, doctor. What am I supposed to do?
Yes, well, yeah. My point is that he is categorized as a base beta, and because of the fact that he wants to rule the house, I want you to pay close attention to paragraph 6, where I discuss the psychological makeup of the master beta. Okay.
Thank you, doctor. I'll do that.
Thank you, Ethel, for calling in. Listen, doctor, I got 2 questions for you. Now, is Ethel a psycho or a sicko? And is Ethel's husband a psycho or a sicko?
Basically, her husband is the psycho, and it's pretty much making her sick, which categorizes her as the sicko.
Ah, wonderful. You are a sweet lad. I'm so glad you're on the show here. All right, we're going to not really move on, but the doctor. Now, you know, this is a live show, and we do things live, which means you may not expect certain things to happen. I want to tell you that our crack team, and I don't mean the drug-using team, I mean sharp, clever. So our crack team, they've been doing some research on the internet, and they've discovered that you have a daughter. Your daughter, they found, is, shall we say, giving you a little problems. She's a runaway. She's changed her name to something like Ludi Bell. And she's also really into wanting to be a country music enthusiast. Oh, how are you feeling about this, Dr. Cunningham?
Well, first of all, you have to understand that you are touching upon a subject that is very close to my heart, and I want you to know that the family has suffered greatly because of this tragic chain of events. I love my daughter, and how this all started was she told me she was having weird dreams about Charlie Pride, and it manifested itself into her running away from home. And I think when we found her, she was in Nashville trying to sell country western songs that she wrote.
Yes.
Now being from Detroit and being in the 60s, I'm from the Motown era. As a matter of fact, I also tried my hand at singing, but Barry Gordy couldn't see his way fit to sign me because of Smokey Robinson or the Miracles, or It Was a Miracle or something of that nature. And I couldn't live out my dream, but it seems as though there was a transference of this type of behavior onto my daughter.
I see. Well, Dr. Cunningham, let me I'm going to have to spring this one on you as well. The same crack team has found this song on the internet.
Don't know what you're doing, I just know I'm a ruin. I don't know what you can do for me. You walk around in your undies, just smell some like fundies. And please, I don't like that.
Oh, Doctor, what have you to say about this song that's being played on the internet?
I would like to ask you a question. Is it that you have a crack team, or is your team on crack? Because you have managed to breach a boundary that is very painful for me and my family. And to come up with that song was, I think, a little bit out of line, because that was the same song that they were playing through the precinct when I went to pick her up, because she had been picked up by the Nashville police for impersonating a country western singer. And they were blasting the song throughout the precinct and laughing and drinking Jack Daniels and having like a good old boy time. So it's very painful to hear that song, very painful.
Well, I'm so sorry, Doctor. We didn't mean to hurt your feelings, but as I warned you, this is a live show, and I'm thinking that perhaps she's well, you call it, is your daughter a psycho, a sicko, and again, you being an attorney and all, I suppose you were also able to represent her when you had to pick her up. Yes?
Yes. Basically, I was able to play both roles, where I could diagnose her and get her off on a light sentence as well. She is now back home with us. managed to build a house that's big enough for her to occupy the basement, and it's soundproof enough so that my wife and I don't have to hear the country western songs that she sings while she's down in the basement.
Ah, all right. Well, let's go back to the phones. We've got another caller. Caller, you're on the air. Carrie King and Dr. Robert Jumumba Cunningham. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, this Bobby, y'all.
Bobby.
I want to say, hey, Dr. Cunningham, you know, I took one of your classes. Hello? Dr. Cunningham?
What's happening, Bobby?
You know, today is my birthday.
Oh, Bobby, happy birthday to your son. How old are you?
I'm not going to say that, but I want to ask y'all a question. Do you know where I'm calling y'all from?
Oh, yeah, it looks like you're calling us from one of the Middle Atlantic states.
No, y'all. I'm flying the Air Force One. I'm hanging out with President Barack Obama, man.
How are you able to do this, Bobby?
It's my birthday, and since it's my birthday, Barack is letting me fly the plane, right? It's really cool being up here and everything, right?
Hey, Bobby, I want to thank you.
You ain't gonna believe what they allow me to do, because it's your birthday, man, and I didn't even know that I could do stuff like this.
Okay,
you know
Bobby,
what I'm
we're
saying?
bidding you a farewell, Doctor.
I just had a menage a trois with Beyonce.
Is he a psycho or a sicko?
Basically, Bobby is
pardon from her, you know. Hey, y'all want to talk to Barack? Y'all want to talk to Barack? Hello?
We're saying goodbye to you. I thought you were off the air, but
come on, talk to the people, B.
Did you say?
Hey, come on, B.
Cunningham, is he a psycho or a sicko?
Basically, he's neither, because he's a frat brother of mine, and I'm still trying to get an audience with the president, so I can't make a diagnosis at this time about Bobby.
Oh, well, that is very interesting news. Well, Dr. Robert Jumumba Cunningham, we are nearing the end of the show. I want to thank you for coming on to the show. But before we go, it looks like we have one more caller. We can take one more call. Caller. Yes, caller. Have you something to say or no?
Yeah, this is Earl. I got a little problem. I like to do it with socks. I really like the fluffy ones. I started out with my dress socks. The nice slim black ones, but I love the nice fluffy white ones.
Earl.
And they're really
Excuse me, Earl.
I just love them.
Earl,
and I got a new fetish now. It's lederhosen. The German lederhosen. They're nice and fluffy, and they do hikes in them.
Earl, can you hear me? Earl, this is Carrie King. Can you hear me, Earl? Okay. I don't think Earl can hear me, but what I think is that he is the husband of Ethel. What do you think, the doctor? And would you say hearing him in the flesh that he's a psycho or a sicko? Sicko. Sicko. Sicko.
I would say that he's
Yes, doctor. What?
I'd have to think that he would be categorized as a
Yes, doctor.
a sicko.
Ah, a sicko. Well, folks, there you have it. Doctor, I want to thank you again for coming by the Carrie King Live Show. It's been a pleasure to have you here, and I hope that you will come back.
Well,
Okay.
thank you for having me, and I look forward to coming back.
Thank you so much. And once again, you've been listening to Larry King Live. What am I saying? That's my brother. I mean to say Carrie King Live. Everyone, goodbye.